So, Tom, who is this course for?
This course is for everyone who is going to take the IELTS test, and also for teachers who would like to know how the examiners assess each part of the test, especially writing and speaking.
You say that this course was made in collaboration with three IELTS examiners. Why is that important?
In the IELTS exam, the secret of success is to know what the examiners look for. If you are not familiar with all these criteria, chances are you will never get a high score. To illustrate, let's have a look at the speaking assessment criteria pronunciation band 6. Let's read. Uses a range of pronunciation features with mixed control. So, do you know what it means?
Actually, I have no idea.
Alright, let's read the next bullet point. Shows some effective use of features, but this is not sustained. As you can see, they do not give us any details. So, if you are not an examiner, you will never know what pronunciation features they want to hear. But you shouldn't worry, because in this course you will find a detailed explanation of all assessment criteria.
Thank you, Tom. But why did you need three IELTS examiners?
Well, 2 years ago, when I just started making this course, I realized that different examiners might have different points of view on your writing skills. For instance, let's read carefully an essay topic. Some people believe that all fast food is unhealthy. To what extent do you agree? Of course, we aren't gonna discuss the whole essay because it may take hours. We need only one paragraph, the conclusion. A student writes, in conclusion, even though in the pursuit of profit, some entrepreneurs may add flavor intensifiers or ingredients of poor quality, I believe that most fast food restaurants offer an extensive selection of safe and high-standard products owing to both hygienic and production control. Can you find any mistakes? Well, on the one hand, it's a great paragraph. It's logical and well organized. The student shows high-level lexes like flavor intensifiers, extensive selection, and hygienic control. Also, there are no grammar mistakes. Articles, commas, everything is correct. On the other hand, I wouldn't say that it's so perfect. There are two reasons. The first one is that some examiners are convinced that a paragraph must have at least 2 sentences, but here we have only one. Actually, a paragraph can have 1 sentence, and the Cambridge Dictionary proves that. But arguing with IELTS examiners is not a good idea. So, if you want to get a high score, you'd better write 2 sentences. However, that is not the main mistake in this paragraph. Read the topic again. Some people believe that all fast food is unhealthy. To what extent do you agree? Now, read carefully the conclusion paragraph.
To be honest, I can't see anything wrong with this. I think everything is correct. The student gives their opinion and supports their reasoning.
You're right, the student gives his point of view, but it's not clear. In the task, it's written, to what extent do you agree? So you can't just say, I believe or I agree. You must show to what extent you agree. If you don't do that, some examiners will never give you more than a 6 for task response, even if the rest of your essay is perfect. By the way, even native speakers can't overcome a 7 in the writing part because they don't know how to write essays or describe graphs.
But why do native speakers need the IELTS exam?
For many reasons. To become an examiner, for instance, if a native speaker wants to be an examiner, they must take the IELTS exam and achieve at least an 8 in each part. I know that some natives had to retake the exam 3 or 4 times. So it's extremely important to know how the IELTS exam is assessed, especially the writing and speaking sections. That's why in this course we discuss all the assessment criteria in detail.
You've just mentioned the speaking part. Could you tell me more about it?
Why not? For example, many students believe that if they pronounce all words properly, they will get a high score. That's not true. Apart from the words, you must know how to chunk sentences, use intonation, and link words together. Otherwise, your score will be between a 5 and a 6.
Could you give any examples?
Well, let me think for a while. Alright, imagine you want to use an if clause to impress an examiner, like if you had called me yesterday, I would have helped you. Good grammar structure, but bad pronunciation. It's much better to say, if you'd called me yesterday, I would have helped you. Feel the difference? If you had called me yesterday, I would have helped you. And if you'd called me yesterday, I would have helped you.
Do you mean that the spoken language is different from the written language?
Absolutely. And you must show the examiners that you know the difference.
Thanks, Tom. And in your course, do you give any tips for the listening and reading sections, or they are not as important as the writing and speaking parts?
I know that many students underestimate the listening and reading parts, but they might be extremely critical because in the exam you might be given a difficult essay topic, for example, about vertical farming. Many students don't even know what it means. Or in the speaking part, you might be asked a tough question like describe a law which you think is good. Such questions can ruin everything. That's why in this course you will find a lot of useful techniques on how to achieve an 8 in the listening and reading sections, even if your skills are far from advanced. It means if something goes wrong and you get a 6 for the writing and speaking, you will have a good chance to have an overall band score 7 or even 7.5.
And the 7, is that a good score?
Absolutely! Most universities require a 6.5, not an 8, as many students believe. By the way, this course has a few bonus lessons, in particular, what you should and shouldn't do the day before the IELTS test. This is very important because if you don't follow these recommendations, you might have a low score even if you are an advanced student. Also, at the end of the course, you will know how to memorize 3,000 words a year and never forget them. To compare, students who prefer the so-called passive learning, I mean by reading books or watching films, usually can memorize about 500 words a year. That is not enough, because to get a 7 plus, you need to know about 7,000 words. So if you learn 500 words a year, it will take you over 10 years to be ready for the IELTS exam.
3,000 words a year? That's impressive. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, one student told me that he was so happy to find this course on the internet because he couldn't afford to pay for private or group lessons. He said he saved about $3,000. To be honest, I didn't believe it at first, but then I calculated that to discuss with a teacher all the information given in the course, you need at least 100 hours. An IELTS tutor takes from $30 to $50 per hour, So you have to spend between $3,000 and $5,000. That's big money. As for my course, it cost about $300. So he was right, you can definitely save 3-4,000. And I'm really glad that it can help many students around the world. However, if you have friends who are going to take the IELTS exam, you can split the check and study together. I'm absolutely okay with that.
Thank you, Tom. Good luck with this amazing course.
You're always welcome. Thank you.